can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're at in the program?
My name is Rebecca Salcedo, and I am just started 5 weeks ago. So I'm on the first 10-week course and the fifth week. So right halfway through that.
Awesome. How'd you find us and how'd you decide we were the right program for you?
All right. So like a year ago, I started the Heart and Hands courses by Elizabeth Davis.
Yeah.
And I was looking to go to the National Midwifery Institute was actually why I did her prerequisite. And going through her two courses, it was amazing. And I just realized I don't know if I want to go that route because they're very medicalized and they have changed the way they've done things over the years. And chatting with people in the class and with her. And then one of the girls brought up, "Have you heard of indie births?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." So then I Googled you guys and I was like, I started listening to podcasts. I started following. I started asking in different places, "Hey, has anyone heard of indie births? What are your thoughts?" And just seeing what you guys were about, I read all who you were, who Mary was, oh, okay, what are these schools? What does it entail? And the more I looked into it, the more I really liked it. I like the accountability. I feel like you guys had more accountability. I'm a stay at home mom and I homeschool. So I have to have a little bit of flexibility with my son and stuff. And I was I said, I can't really do all in person. Some schools I looked into. And then I just love that there was timelines because some schools have no timelines. And I do really good with checklists and timelines and oh, this has to be done by then. And I'll sit down and do it. But if I have forever, I'll procrastinate and be
Totally.
"Oh, I have so long. I have so long." I even did your intro coursing and I never finished it because there was no deadlines. And I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
I could sit down and do it a different time." And then I was just really just "Okay, what is it time?" And I just honestly love the spiritual stuff you talk about, just some, even some midwives I was talking to, just the whole concept of a spirit baby or just pray, asking for dreams, doing all this stuff. They're just "Oh, no, no, no." And so I was just I really want to do more. And I guess you can call it traditional route, more of old school midwifery where it's about the woman and not about just there's so much medicalized. And even through my birth with my son, I just wish I knew what I knew now. So then I was like, okay, I love everything about it. And I took the plunge. I'm like, I'm going to start it because 2 years, 3 years are going to go by and either going to be in the same spot or I'm going to be moving along.
Yeah.
So here we go. And I just took the plunge. It's been great. Man, even learning this 5 weeks, man, if I knew this 5 years ago, if I knew this, my son's almost 6 now. I wish I knew this from my birth. I wish I had someone from my birth who knew half the stuff I know now. That's only 5 weeks. So I'm oh my goodness.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I'm just, it was definitely brought to me just perfect timing because I've never heard of you guys before.
That's awesome. Who was the person who told you about us?
She's another girl in the class. Her name is Kelly Nelson, but I don't think she's enrolled in the school. She was just looking around. And I know another girl who was in my class, she enrolled too around the same time as me. And we just found out 2 days ago that we both enrolled. So I was interesting.
I love that. That's so cool. Well, thank you, Kelly Nelson, wherever
Yeah.
you are. It shows the power of word of mouth too, which I think,
Yeah.
our school is small. And we are relatively new-ish, although we've been around for a good, what is it, 7 years now? 6, 7 years. And um, so yeah, we rely on our students sharing their awesome experiences with us and bringing more people our way. So that's really a cool example of that.
And I don't even think she's just looking into different birth schools. And I was
Good.
"Oh, wow. Okay, let me look them up."
Yeah, totally.
And I was "I love it."
Awesome. What else was I going to ask you? I guess if somebody out there is listening to this and they are looking at our program or they're considering it or they're shopping around for midwifery education options, what advice would you give them?
I would say know who you want to be at. I mean, obviously we change and we grow, but like look at yourself like 10 years ago, what kind of midwife would you want to be? And go from there. Cause that was like a big thing for me. Like I was dead set on like, I'm going to the National Midwifery Institute because I don't know, like that was just one of the ones that stuck out to me. I was like, yeah, and I got to do prereqs and do this. And then when I really sat down and was asked that question and wrote out things like, this is what I really want to be in as a midwife, I realized that's not the right fit. And that's not going to get me to my end goal or help grow me to become more of this. And so, like, just know who am I as a person? What are my beliefs? What do I want to be? What kind of woman do I want to serve? And go from there. Cause I'm in California. So it's also a lot of rules and laws and
Yeah.
knowing there's going to be a battle, but like there's midwives needed here who are willing to step up and be people need.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the case everywhere. I mean, that there are midwives needed,
Yeah.
there's every single day we get emails from women in different states. I think I got 2 yesterday, one looking for someone somewhere in Texas and one I can't remember where the other spot was, but we get these questions all the time
Mhm.
like, for referrals for midwives who are like us, who are not beholden to other
Yeah.
other authoritative bodies and answer just to the women in their community. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I really want to be a midwife and I'm not sure if there's room for me, like, yes, there is. There's so much room. We have such a shortage of midwives. We really, really, really need more. And yeah, you can't go wrong getting this information and this knowledge. Uh, yeah.
I was gonna
What
say,
else?
especially I wanted a home birth, but I ended up doing a birth center to peace those around me, which I wish I didn't. And it was more like I called it a mini hospital. And I ended up being transferred to the hospital. And I feel like looking back, a lot of the reasons didn't need to be. It was more so like impatience. And, my son was never his heart rate, not nothing like that. I just had a very long first labor. So for me, it was like wishing I had someone who had my back and who believed in me like I wanted to be believed in. And I kind of gave up on myself because I was like, you're right. My uterus is gonna stop. And I was still contracting, still doing everything. Sorry, I'm somewhat. So a
Okay.
lot of it was I'm not not believing in like I just lost the courage because I felt like no one here believes in me. And I also went through 4 midwives in the time I was at the birth center, which is crazy to me. Like I was trying to avoid that. And
Yeah.
2 of them I never met. So I was like, wait, who are you? Why are you in this room?
Mm,
So I mean, I wish I knew what I knew then. Like, yeah.
yeah.
And I want to be a midwife who's there for the woman, not for myself or for the government or for the medical community. Cause I feel like so often we're taught there's so much fear in birth and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Thank you. I guess, my last question for you will just be like, what have I know you've only been in the program for a few weeks, but, what have some of your favorite parts of the program been? Or like, what are some of the perks or highlights for you so far?
So I like the community board. Like I love that you can go ask questions. You could see what other people have to say. I really, really like that because even though we're not all like in the same classroom setting, I feel like you are together. Like, like and I'm not even putting in a group yet, but I feel like there is someone I can reach out to all the time. And there's people on there. And that's amazing to me because I was really worried about having that, not have
Yeah.
like I didn't want to be a lone wolf. I feel like in California, I'm already not it's hard to find like-minded people, so I was, like, really excited about that, and I love okay, so I love, like, I'm do like, there's, like, those topical things, like, the 6 things that are due, the questions that will be due, and they really make me stop and think, and I love that I'm, like, learning, but also going further, and I also have the time to do it, like, I don't feel rushed in doing it, I feel like I have the time to sit here and really, like, meditate on it before I start it. And so I really like that. And I also like the podcast because I listen to them while I drive. And it's something that I can go back and rewind and listen to again. And yeah, I like the way it's laid out. I just really like it. And I feel like there's Like, I have to finish it by a certain time, so I'm more into it than not.
I think my internet froze, but I'm sure you
Yeah.
said very wise and
Oh, I said
helpful.
I like that there's accountability, like, I have to finish it at a certain time
Yeah.
because I'm a very big, like, "Okay, I can do it."
Yeah, totally.
So I like that.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for this. It's been, I think,
No
really
problem.
helpful for people who are maybe out there learning about us for the first time or considering checking out our school and our program. And we're so lucky to have amazing students like you being part of our indie birth family. And thank you for doing this. And thank you for all the
No
hard work
problem.
you're doing for women and for babies too.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more. I can't believe all I like, honestly, like, I'm always, "Do you know what I just learned?" Before husband, "Do you know what I just learned? It's only 5 weeks. Oh, you got a long time to hear all this." Like,
That's right.
so it's exciting. I mean, I just feel like there's so much that you guys put into it. So
Mm,
it's
thank you.
great.
Thank you. Thank you.